What if I told you there are places on Earth where a single step could take you into another country, where the laws, the language, even the time itself changes instantly? These are not science fiction stories. They're real borders, and they break every rule you thought you knew. Welcome to Echo Compass, guiding global stories to your screen. Borders are not just lines drawn on a map. They are silent agreements between nations, the product of centuries of wars, treaties, and sometimes pure accidents of history. In many places, borders are obvious: a fence, a wall, a river. But in others, they are strange, confusing, and in some cases, almost invisible. Today, we'll explore 5 of the world's most unusual borders, each with its own set of unspoken rules that locals follow every day. Some of them will make you smile. Others might leave you questioning what a border even means. Our first stop is a small European town with a big identity crisis. Baarle is split into 2 parts: Baarle-Hertog, belonging to Belgium, and Baarle-Nassau, part of the Netherlands. At first glance, it's just a quiet town with cafes and cobblestone streets, but look closer, you'll see white lines painted right across roads, sidewalks, and even through buildings. These lines mark the border between the 2 countries. The story goes back to medieval land swaps, when pieces of territory were traded like playing cards between dukes and lords. Centuries later, when Belgium and the Netherlands became modern states, they decided to keep this chaotic puzzle exactly as it was. The result? A town with 22 Belgian enclaves inside Dutch territory, and 8 Dutch enclaves inside Belgian enclaves. Locals have learned to live with it. Some houses have 2 addresses: one Belgian, one Dutch. Shops on one side close earlier on Sundays because of Dutch laws, while their neighbours across the line stay open under Belgian rules. And yes, you can literally eat lunch in one country and pay your bill in another, without ever leaving your table. Next we head to Africa, to a place so unwanted that no country claims it. Bir Tawil is a patch of desert about the size of Luxembourg, sitting between Egypt and Sudan. The confusion began in 1899, when the British drew a straight border along the 22nd parallel. But in 1902, they adjusted it to give a fertile area called the Halaib Triangle to Egypt, and left Bir Tawil to Sudan. Today, both countries want the Fertile Triangle, and neither wants Bir Tawil. The land has no water, no agriculture, and no permanent settlements. Legally, it's one of the few truly unclaimed places on Earth. This has inspired some unusual visitors. In 2014, an American man travelled there, planted a flag, and declared it the Kingdom of North Sudan, so his daughter could be a princess. Of course, no government recognised his claim. Bir Tawil remains empty, a no-man's land where the only rule is survival under the desert sun. Our third stop is a quiet town on the US-Canada border, with one of the most charming quirks of any border on Earth. Darby Line, Vermont, shares a border with Stansted, Quebec. Here, the international boundary runs straight through streets, houses, and most famously, the Haskell Free Library and Opera House. Inside, a black line on the floor marks the border. One half of the reading room is in the United States, the other half in Canada. The main entrance is in the US, but the stage in the Opera House is in Canada. The building was constructed in 1904 as a gift to the community, with the intention of serving both countries equally. Even during times of strict border control, locals can still visit the library as long as they enter and leave through the same country. The unspoken rule: don't cross that black line unless you have the right documents. From quiet towns, we now climb to the highest border in the world. The summit of Mount Everest sits exactly on the boundary between Nepal and China's Tibet Autonomous Region. Climbers who reach the top can technically stand in two countries at once. An impressive feat, considering the journey to get there. But this shared summit hides a deep divide. Each country has its own climbing routes, rules and rescue systems. Nepal's side is known for its crowded base camps and long queues near the summit, while the Tibetan side is quieter but requires special permits and stricter regulations. Even the exact height of Everest is disputed. Nepal recognizes it as 8,848.86 meters, while China has historically argued for a slightly different measurement. Up here, the air is thin, the weather unforgiving, and yet the invisible line between nations still matters. Our final stop takes us to the frozen waters of the Bering Strait. Just 4 kilometers apart are two islands, Big Diomede, belonging to Russia, and Little Diomede, part of the United States. On a clear day, you can see one island from the other, but they are separated by more than just water. The international date line runs between them, creating a 21-hour time difference. This means that when it's 9 a.m. Monday on Little Diomede, it's already 6 a.m. Tuesday on Big Diomede. Locals call them Tomorrow Island and Yesterday Island. During the Cold War, Big Diomede was home to a Soviet military base, while Little Diomede held a small Alaskan community. Travel between them was forbidden, despite the short distance. Today, no regular passenger travel exists, but the two islands still stand as silent markers of the strange ways geography and politics can bend time itself. These borders are reminders that the world is full of surprises. They show us that history, culture, and geography don't always follow straight lines. For the people who live here, these borders are not just political boundaries, they're part of daily life, shaping everything from where they shop to which laws they follow. Borders may divide land, but they can also connect stories. And sometimes they challenge us to see the world as a shared space, full of echoes waiting to be heard. Stay on course, subscribe to Echo Compass, and let us guide you to the next signal.